And so this district, Brownsboro, has a greater proportion of not confirmed enrollment. And you may recognize this pattern as what you expect. And so these are the data for that district.
And the independent would be those that you mentioned earlier, that was that list,
Yeah.
that additional list of
Mm-hmm.
schools.
Yes.
Actually, it's not.
It's
I
not?
mean the list and accountability that we showed you?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not in-
Actually, what independent is in this case is it's those, we collect data from the independent colleges and universities of Texas. It's the ICUT Associate, and those are the Rice, Trinity, Baylor, TCU, Texas Lutheran, all of the, St. Our Lady of the Lake, those institutions, and you can find a list of them under, you can look up ICUT. We collect data from them, but we have a very specific MOU about what we can show and what we can't, and they allow us to take that information and integrate it into our dashboards as the student attended and independent. We have places where we actually will show if students attended those institutions, but there's other data about those institutions that we do not show, that we provide back to them. But anytime we track students who, we are able to include them usually generally in the tracking. So
Now, how is that different from accountability?
okay, so in accountability, we have legislation that said we have to show the career schools, they have to report, it has something to do with the certificate of authority that we give for them to be in the state. But because we have the special arrangement with ICUT, we do not include them. I can't tell you all the workings behind the scene. But there is some data. I can show you one place where we show enrollment data for those independent colleges, but they are not in our accountability system. But
So this does not include career schools?
right, so this doesn't include career
Right.
schools. Moving forward, the tough thing with that is because we only collect the data once a year from career schools, and there's a real lag. It really slows things down to include them. So we have some things that are included in, but generally when we do our high school to college tracking, because we see, and we've looked at this, we see a very small percentage of students going directly from high school to a career school. And generally when we track high school to college, we track if students go, we track those students who enroll, right when they leave high school. If they're enrolling 10 years later, if they went to your high school, maybe, so much has happened to them. It's probably something that you don't want to make a direct connection anyway, or I shouldn't say you don't want to, but it would be a different type of connection. Does that help? Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. No, that's important. It's important to know. So
12 hours, even though 15
this.
hours, yeah, for generally that's what we use. For financial aid students, generally 12 hours is considered.
And I think
full-time.
we will probably always use the financial aid definition. If that changes, we would probably change too.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely.
So, notice here that there's not a bar for these populations, and that's because there wasn't enough data to share there. So if you see an empty bar, and that's explained on that home page, if you see an empty bar, it means because there wasn't data.